Welcome back to Sims Complete. Welcome back, Big Phil, to America, all the way from Munich, Germany. He made his way back after the broadcast for the New York Giants versus the Carolina Panthers. Big guy, how was it being back in the booth, though, for you?
Oh, well, I was not in a booth. I was in the stands.
Oh, really?
Yes, in the stands, nothing around us except a guy sitting over here, a group behind me, and right in the middle. Nothing. Yeah, it was great. I mean, it was great. It was freezing cold sitting in the stands, so there was nothing to protect us.
Right.
But the fans were crazy. I'm exhausted. I've lost my voice. You name it. Lack of sleep. But I would just say this over there. They don't like American football. It's a love affair. It's crazy. And it's not just because I saw the group that liked this. Everywhere we went, and I went in the town. I went to see a high school game when I was over there. That was really unique. I'm glad I did that. The NFL Europe squad that they're kind of have an academy there. It looks like it's working great.
The NFL Academy versus IMG was played over there. And you had a good time, though, watching that football game?
Very. Yes, I loved it. It wasn't IMG's special team.
Right.
But, man, they had a lot of good-looking guys. And the NFL Europe team loaded with good-looking players. Linemen, big, 6'5", 280, sophomores and juniors in high school. I'm like, the quarterback, Matt, you would have loved him. Tough, ran around, and he can really, really throw it. Perfect spirals, always on target.
Yeah.
It was I took a picture with him. And I said, where are you from? Austria. Austria's turning that quarterbacks, man. Here we go. The whole thing was really, really, really cool. Very impressed with what's going on in that, with the NFL, spreading this out and working with a lot of young kids.
Were you surprised to just know, I guess, the level of awareness and education that the fans had over there in Germany, and just kind of how into it they are? Because we discussed this last time we were on. You were there for one of the first broadcasts ever in London, where the game was brand new. Bob Papa reminded me that Germany was the last kind of like stronghold of NFL Europe when they had those teams.
Right.
So did you feel like the fans like pretty aware and into the football game and understanding kind of what's going on?
100%.
Yeah.
And it just wasn't because, like I said, I'm with the group that likes it. It's everywhere I went in the city.
Right.
It was in the game and the stadium. They're really into it. I'm not going to say football is their number one sport that they love, but but it could be. I mean, I didn't hear them say, "Oh, soccer." I didn't hear them. It was NFL football, and everything I did, every function I went to, there were fans of all the teams in the NFL, and it was boisterous. It was loud. They knew a lot about NFL football, the history, and all they did was complain that there's not more games over there.
Oh, really?
More games? Oh, yeah. I sat next to Roger Goodell at a little forum in a pub. I don't know if it was a pub. It was about, I'm going to say, anywhere 500 to 1,000 people there. And it was crazy.
Yeah.
And Roger, that was the first question. When are we going to get more games over here, Roger? And he kind of told them that, there's more coming. And in a couple years, I would expect every team in the NFL have to play at least one game in Europe somewhere to satisfy the fans.
Amazing.
Yeah, it really is amazing. It's
maybe the time is coming sooner than we think, too, of a team that's actually located and calls, Germany or England their home base, which would be, really fascinating. But, hey, we'll see how it all plays out.
Yeah, the NFL, whatever they're doing, I don't exactly know all what they do to progress the game, but whatever they're doing, it's not working. It's working great.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't tell you, this wasn't just a 1 week phenomenon by the German people there in Munich. It was, hey, I stay up till 7 a.m. watching NFL football. I can't even go to work.
Right.
And the fact that they know quite a bit about the history. And you know what kind of surprised me, just walking down the street, citizens of Munich would be walking the other way. Hey, Phil. And I was like, wow, okay.
Yeah.
Even that surprised me. They were big Giant fans.
Right.
So, yeah, just a lot of good stuff. It was a rough trip. I'm not going to lie. lack of sleep, all the work, going to the game, sitting in the stands. It was cold, a little breeze hitting your face, but the fans were crazy for the game. They have a lot of fun. It's kind of like a soccer game, but now we got football.
Right.
Singing along with every song that's played during the intermission and halftime.
Yeah.
It was all cool.
It is great. And the fandom seemed really, really
It's
awesome.
real.
And it's real. You're right. And, people I think are really engaged with the game tremendously over there too, which I think is just such a cool thing to see and appreciate. The national anthem was great. I thought that was awesome.
Oh, you know what? Dang it. I was going to talk about it when we started the game. It was so good.
Right.
Wasn't that great?
It was amazing.
The violin was beyond belief. I mean, if they just said, okay, go home, I go, well, that was a great, that was great. And it was special. It really was. And Machine Gun Kelly, you didn't get to see him though, did you?
No, they said during the broadcast that if you wanted to check it out on YouTube, the NFL YouTube page, you can do that. But David Garrett, who was the German American who did the national anthem for playing the violin, David Garrett, that was phenomenal. Probably one of the best national anthems that I've heard in a really long time. So that was really special too. So a German American out there doing that, really, really special moment. What are your other thoughts on the game and just the experience that you had?
Well, we had to be there like 4.5 hours before the game started because of the crowd, the rush and everything.
Right.
And it wasn't like we got there in front of a bunch of people.
Yeah.
I mean, they were already streaming in.
Yeah.
It was, so that would call me off guard too.
Does the German fan base, are they tailgating like how we do here in America, like in the parking lot? No, it's not like that at all.
I don't think there was. We talked about that.
Yeah.
And because they were going to the stadium so early, and somebody says, man, they got to learn to tailgate. But they were tailgating in the stadium. The stadium had food and drinks and all that everywhere. The stadium was really, really cool from the outside. I didn't take a dang picture of it. It's like a glass bowl, goes all the way up and over.
Right.
And the only thing is a circle at the top of it that's open.
Yeah.
And so beautiful stadium, seats, all that. The views for everybody. We were at least maybe, I would say 70% up the stadium.
Right.
Only 30% behind us. And it was a great view. I felt like I could really see the game, even from where I was sitting, and pick out numbers and things like that.
That's great. That's great. Yeah. Awesome. Yeah. I was very curious to see kind of just like what the pregame activities are like. I know one thing though, they don't mess around with the beers there, because they were showing some fans in the stands, and they got beers that they were double deckers. So it was.
Well, listen, they did that at one of the functions we were at, the one I was telling you about with Roger Goodell.
Right.
And come on, Julius Peppers was there.
Right.
Marcus Kuhn, who was with the Giants from Germany, was there. Whatever.
Right.
And they had a soccer player there, but Roger Goodell, I'm gonna tell on him. They gave us all these beer mugs or whatever you want to call them.
Yeah.
They were glass, weighed about 5 pounds, and if you like held it out here, you'd like, and they were full of beer, and we all took a drink. And I'll gotta admit, the commish, he downed it pretty good. He didn't drink all of it because, and none of us did. But
he was working.
It's the old thing though. When you travel, you go, "Wow, this beer is not the same." It's you drink it and you go, "Wow, that's really good." I'm not even a beer drinker.
Yeah.
But man, it was good. There's just something about it. I guess it's the environment. The big mug it comes in, or what do you call it? A Stein? Is that what you would call it?
You tell me, man. You were
I don't
there.
know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I should have brought some home.
Das Boot. I don't know.
Yeah. So, gosh. But that was pretty cool. So I don't know what else to say.
That's awesome. I'm
glad I did it.
Yeah, it's a cool experience. I'm glad that you had a good time there. I know you were impressed too by how clean the city was too. You told me.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I'm embarrassed to be an American. Man, it was unbelievable. Man, I swear. It became a point of mine. No matter what we did, I had to walk the streets in a car, a bus. I was looking for litter.
Right.
And I'm just telling you, I didn't see one thing.
Right.
I didn't see it on the bus ride to the stadium, and all the cars I was in, walking in town, in the city, going here, going there, going where there's thousands of people because it's all restaurants and like a little place they go to on Friday and Saturday nights, cobblestone roads and where you're at. And I'm looking around, nothing. it became like I was obsessed with it.
Right.
I really was.
Yeah. You're like, I'm
gotta be something. I didn't see a cigarette butt.
Man.
Yeah, I know. You know what? That's just who they are.
Yeah.
It really is. I would say it was. They didn't clean it up because we were coming over.
Okay. No, definitely not. I love that you're searching though for the litter over there. But that's cool. The IMG versus the NFL Academy, really special. I'm glad you got to meet some of the players after. Yeah. Garrett too, again for his national anthem and just how special that was. The game itself, slow start for the New York Giants, ended up being a fun game that goes into overtime, and unfortunately too for Tyron Tracy, who's one of the highlights and better stories in the NFL, and for the New York Giants in particular. For him to have that fumble late obviously was unfortunate, but he played extremely well. And, I know that he'll bounce back and recover from that play. And he's too good of a person and player for that to hold him down. But now we'll get into the real reason why we today started this meeting. And that is Chicago fires their offensive coordinator. They part ways. Why am I blanking on his name all of a sudden? With Shane Waldron.
Shane Waldron, yes.
Yeah. And I know. I don't know why I blanked all of a sudden.
It's all right.
But yeah, so they part ways with Shane Waldron. Now Thomas Brown moves up to the offensive coordinator position, just to kind of give everyone some stats and just big picture stuff too for Chicago. 19th in points per game with 21. Fourth actually in red zone with 65% conversion rate in the red zone. The problem is they don't get to the red zone very often. Third down percentage, 31%. They're 31st in the league. 29th in pass yards per game with 182. 23rd in rush yards per game with 112. And then total, they're 28th with just over 290. So a team that is struggling right now. There's no lack of skill talent on the outside. The offensive line has been an issue here so far this season with Caleb Williams getting injured, not injured, but getting hit a lot in some football games, including this past one against the Patriots, being sacked 9 times. Big Phil, your first initial thoughts and reaction to the firing of Shane Waldron and where Chicago finds themselves now?
Okay, well, there's a lot. That's why I wanted to do this today.
Yeah.
The hysteria over this happening. Oh, my God, they've ruined Caleb Williams. Please stop it. Mm-hmm. I mean, stop it. What do you mean he's ruined? I mean, come on. We're into a rookie season. They're 4-5. They should be 5-4, except for a stupid Hail Mary, right?
Right.
That would kind of change it all. But, listen, I don't like to see people get fired, but, players get cut too. We don't go, wow, we feel bad. But for coaches, I don't know why we have such a different look at it than we do with the players. Mm-hmm. But the offense doesn't fit Caleb Williams. And is he going to be ruined by this experience? I mean, Matt, of course he's not. Yeah. He's mentally and physically stronger than that he'll never recover from this 4-5 start. It drives me crazy. I watch too much TV. And but I will say this, you brought up all those numbers in the game. Yeah. Yes, Caleb Williams is holding the ball too long. He's doing a lot of things that aren't right. But when it's there and he has the opportunities, he is a guy that can make about any play that you want to talk about in the NFL. Right. And Shane Waldron, let's just talk about that real quick.
Yeah, let's focus there.
Comes from Seattle, Geno Smith, and Geno Smith is a pocket drop back NFL quarterback. They ran what I would call a really basic NFL offense. Okay. Right. So just saying that's not Caleb Williams, what you want to do with him. He doesn't fit in the prototype NFL offense that I would just say, let's just say half the league is running it. He needs an offense just for him. Mm-hmm. And it sounds like Thomas Brown, they bring in, just to do a quickie there, he comes from the Rams. He was there. And I would think he's going to be, how many years was he with the Rams? 4 years?
I believe he was there for 3 years with the Rams and Sean McVay. He was assistant head coach for 2. And most recently, a year ago, he was the offensive coordinator for the Carolina Panthers.
Okay, I'll make this quick though. If he was
Yeah.
Sean McVay, he should be that should have caught his attention.
Right.
And if they ran Sean McVay's offense with Caleb Williams, it would be great. Deep
Right.
play action passes, extra protection. Guys are down the field, easy to see. Defense spread out. I see everything, And if you have to run, there's more lanes to run in because of the deep drops and the deep play actions, the boots, everything. I mean, they got an old quarterback out there, right? And
Right.
he's doing it. So I think Caleb Williams I think he would really excel in that type of offense. I don't want to talk too much. Tell me some of your thoughts.
No, big guy. Hey, people are here to listen to Big Phil talk and break down these things. I know. Well, hey, go ahead. I mean, I think.
Well, all right. Well, just tell me this: the fact that people say they're ruining another quarterback in Chicago. Oh, I mean, what do you think about that when you hear that? You go, oh yeah, they could be right. I mean, what are you, nuts?
Yeah, I think it's more so too, just the fact that people are. They were hoping for finally better days for Chicago, especially on the offensive side of the football.
Yeah.
And of course, everyone's overreacting because that's what we do. And that's the whole thing. Yeah, that's right. It's the whole thing about the media. They can't help themselves. And, even for Mike Greenberg, let's say, in the Get Up show, because that's one of the few shows that I actually do watch because, I feel like they do just enough. They don't go over the top just to do it for that sake. He is covered the team for just about a decade. Is a fan of the team. He said his team is the Bears and the Jets. Unfortunate for him that those are his two teams. Yeah, it's been a rough few years, and I think for him, he's just kind of tired of the same narrative that's being repeated. And it is interesting, big picture wise, how these football teams seem to continue to repeat the history of their franchises over and over and over again. We've always known the Bears as a good, tough defense, and they can do all that, and low scoring, and they're physical and all that. And even when Rex Grossman went to the Super Bowl with them, the identity of the team was still defense and special teams and Devin Hester and all that. So I think people are just a little tired of it. They're a little drained. And also I think people in the media are still disappointed that it didn't work out for Justin Fields. So there's a carryover from the Luke Getsy now into Shane Waldron, Justin Fields into Caleb Williams, just upset about the franchise for, quote unquote, potentially ruining two quarterbacks in recent years.
Okay, Jim McMahon did win a Super Bowl. He's a pretty damn good quarterback too. I never hear his name mentioned would bother me. It bothers me. I mean, Jim McMahon, he was Chicago, tough as hell, loved it, dirty, he was a very unique quarterback who really was more talented than people gave him credit for, but that's another story. Yeah. But let me just go through a little thing about Caleb Williams. Here we go. He had great success always in his whole life. Probably in youth football, he was a superstar. In high school, he was a superstar. Yeah. What was he in college? He was a superstar. Right. So he has never known failure. Right. Okay. Now, this failure, or whatever you want to call it, not failure, but where they're at now, listen, I would say this. It's a good thing. Yeah. It's going to toughen him up. He needs to be toughened up. This is the NFL. So his style of playing, he's going to have to manage it a little bit, but he needs help too. Yeah. And we got to design an offense that fits Caleb Williams. The offense they were running, like I said, that's the prototype NFL offense. That's not what he is. Now, the other thing is, too, we're watching him and we're measuring him against all the other rookies. Right. And I know. Listen, I'll do it quick. Jaden Daniels, yes, it's working out unbelievable for him. Right. So that's one. Drake May in New England. They're running the offense that is absolutely right for him. Right. Right? Do you agree with that?
I agree. I think Van Pelt's done a great job just, running an offense that fits what Drake May does extremely well. I agree.
Bo Nix, I mean, does what he's doing in Denver, you think it fits?
Yeah, man, doesn't get any better than that. Yeah.
It's yes, and that's surprising everybody. But and of course, who am I missing? I'm missing one guy, right? I'm missing Well, Michael Penix, we know.
Yep.
We'll see. But they're running an offense that's going to fit him too.
J.J. McCarthy with that's going to fit perfectly. Yep.
J.J. McCarthy, let's do some play actions and throw just rocket shots 20 and 30 yards down the field, which is what he excels at.
Right.
So, and I think the other thing too is that Caleb Williams is watching all the rookie quarterbacks.
Of course.
It's natural. It's just human nature. And he's seeing it. That probably is putting a little more pressure on him, like trying to be whatever. I watched that game against New England. He was trying to escape from situations there was no chance to do. But it goes down to this. They got to get the right guy in there. Matt, I believe this. You could run the exact same offense that they're running right now, but if you change a few things, in other words, just change sometimes the sequence of the play calling can change the quarterback.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah, but I would, just knowing Thomas Brown's where he's been, I would like to see some of the motions and the plays that the Rams run, and I am convinced that fits Caleb Williams to the T, and, mix it in with the others and slowly make this thing change enough where he goes in every game and knows he can have success because the plan is right for him.
Right.
So those are just a few thoughts. But
they're good thoughts.
Last thing,
go ahead.
One more for you. And like I said, if this ruins him, then okay, I don't know what to say. If he can't overcome this is on a scale of 1 to 10. This is a big fat 1.
Right.
We're over evaluating and taking too much out of the rookie season, your first year. And what are we, 9 games in? And now we've already, so that kind of bothers me a little bit. And what's my favorite saying from Terry Bradshaw?
You got to go to hell to reach heaven.
Got to go to hell first before you go to heaven in the NFL as a quarterback. And I kind of believe that it's rough.
Yeah.
It's different. And I think the fact, Matt, he has been such a great success at all levels. And let's be honest, it was probably easy for him.
Yeah.
It's probably like, hey, man, I think I'll throw for 400 today and all that. So this, like I said, I think this in the long run will toughen him up. It'll be good for him. And he's going to be an outstanding man. It's almost impossible. Sooner or later, they're going to have the right system that fits him, and he's going to be outstanding at it.
Yeah. It's great points, big guy. And I think it's true. And if he's not tough enough or doesn't have a strong enough will to endure what it is that he's going through right now, well, then he really was never meant to be the guy anyway.
No.
So you're right. It really is going to be a great moment for him to just grow and understand that this is a different game than what he's been playing. And all that being said, he still has all of the capabilities and the measurables and the attributes that you would need to be successful in the NFL. And that's the biggest thing, right? He has that cornerstone. He's talented enough. He's athletic enough. We've seen him do enough things here early on so far in his career to know that he is more than capable of doing those things. The biggest question really, I think, is just kind of, where does the offense go from here? How much changes can you really make now midway through the year? You're kind of just putting a Band-Aid on it. Are you really just trying to lighten up the room again? Because I think that's the biggest thing that a lot of teams, when they have these midseason firings of coaches, it's more so just to kind of have like a fresh slate of being excited to go to work again in a way.
That's right.
For him, I think that's just Thomas Brown. You think he's going to be excited this week? You think he's going to be excited for the rest of the year to call games again? He was offensive coordinator for Carolina Panthers. We all know how dysfunctional that organization has been the past few years. He thinks that I'm going there to be an assistant and hopefully get an opportunity again to be, the guy, and work my way up the ladder to hopefully be a head coach again. And, for him to say that he didn't call his family and say, man, can you believe it? I get to call plays again. How awesome is that? So they're going to be, I think, excited for that. I wonder if the theme of the offense, this is where I kind of push back a little bit on what you said about the LA Rams type of philosophy. Honestly, I wouldn't be shocked if he's in shotgun every single play. That's really kind of what I think will happen here at the end of the year. yes, you want to go to the playoffs. You want to be successful. No doubt Eberflus needs that to keep his job. At the same time, you got to make your quarterback feel more comfortable, more confident at the position he's been playing his whole life. What has he been doing most predominantly in his career is dropping back and playing from the shotgun and really seeing the field spread out, right? And then playing from there and then allowing that to be his ability to be elusive out of the pocket. Sometimes I think when you make the field a little bit more condensed, it doesn't really play into the favor of a quarterback that hasn't seen that before or experienced those things. So I see your points, and I'm just kind of curious to see where Thomas Brown goes, because you can make valid points for either side. I'm going to err more towards the side of they're going to line up in shotgun. They're going to spread that football out. They're going to try to be an empty 4 wides, 11 personnel as much as humanly possible, develop a run game from there like that. Very similar to what Cliff Kingsbury is doing with Jaden Daniels in Washington, and just simplify things that way to say, hey, let's play fast, make quick decisions, get the football out of your hand, and let's go. Yeah. And we'll see how it plays out in the coming weeks.
All right. I agree. That's really a good take on what to do. I think when I watch them, give me more passes behind the line of scrimmage. And, everybody goes, I just say you do it because let your guys, let the receivers get involved. Let them have some, catch and runs, whatever. Even if you don't get any yards, the receiver goes, well, I got to catch. And it's a completion for the quarterback. There's nothing like it when they call certain plays, you're going to get completions as a quarterback and get you rolling. But as you say all that, I still think you got to get in under the center just enough to have certain runs out of it. But more importantly, to give him the opportunity to move and have play actions out of it.
Right.
And most of them, like I said, it seems like, in LA, most of them are boots. And Caleb Williams, that we've seen many times already in the NFL, he is a great thrower on the run.
Yeah.
So, and it kind of goes to what you said. More space, spread the defense, everything like that. That's a great thing to say because it is real. Spread it out. You can see it, and it's almost impossible to mess it up.
Yeah. And I think they see someone within their own division that really actually the whole damn division as far as inspiration for what you can do, for your quarterback to be successful. You got Matt LaFleur, who does a lot of good things for Green Bay, and Jordan Love. You got O'Connell and what he does for Sam Darnold and that offense and how creative they are. The passes, behind the line of scrimmage, those screenplays and all. I mean, nobody does that better than Ben Johnson and the Detroit Lions.
Right.
And, there they are, Thursday Night Football. Jared Goff is struggling to complete any passes, but when they put some drives together, they're running receiver screens. They're doing all that stuff kind of behind the line of scrimmage just to get him in rhythm, to feel confident, to just keep throwing it, to make the plays down the field later on in the game when they need to. So plenty of inspiration within the division. And I think that's also part of the reason why they parted ways with Shane Waldron, because they see the rest of the division doing these things with their young quarterbacks, or in Jared Goff's case, and another great example, right, for someone who he's been through hell to reach heaven, that, they're saying we got to get with the times a little bit more, and curious to see how this plays out this year. Curious to see what the future of the franchise is, head coach and offensive coordinator in the near future, because it does seem like things are going to be potentially shaken up in Chicago.
All right, let me say this to all the people that listen and everything, to you.
Yeah.
Look, when we think about the NFL, the offense, or coaches to be able to take good talent and turn it into star material.
Yeah.
And coaching is almost everything in the NFL.
It is everything.
Show me a really bad, offense or whatever, and you have, I don't care how good you as a quarterback, you cannot overcome a bad offense, a bad design, and bad play calling.
Right.
You cannot, I don't care who you are. Patrick Mahomes couldn't overcome it if he was in it. So that's why when we get into all this and what we think Caleb Williams is, you got to create whatever's going to make him, not your stuff, but stuff for him. Then that'll be exciting to watch. So I think we kind of hit all
Yeah, I
of
mean,
it.
and now, just to kind of play that game going forward. Yeah, I'm just kind of curious, like, who would be of interest, right, for the Chicago Bears. Hopefully Thomas Brown does his thing, performs well. He gets to potentially retain that position. I think a lot of people in Chicago do think that just, the time is ticking on the head coach right now in that situation. So, there's a lot of young offensive coordinators that are out there. Of course, a name that continues to get thrown around constantly is Ben Johnson.
Yeah.
So that's just, one of those things to keep in mind. So, only time will tell how this plays out. It's a little early to kind of play that game, but still, to see the names that potentially pop up, will be interesting for that position.
Right. Well, we'll see. I just want to see what happens. This week, we just want to see a little difference in the Bears offense.
Yeah.
But as it goes along, I think we should start seeing how it's called differently. And of course, here's the other thing. We're going to see different results because the quarterback right now, he's got to be like, I'm not going to say he's been shaken by this, but he's a competitor. He's a great competitor. So he's going to tighten up and, really change his game enough where it's going to be suitable to what a lot of people are doing in the NFL. So it's a double-edged sword. The coach has got to do it, and Caleb has got to do it himself, no doubt.
Yeah, no doubt. Any other thoughts that you want to talk about? Do you want to?
Let's talk about something good.
Yeah, and who is that? Who do you want to talk about? Yeah,
man, I watched it this morning. I watched the Arizona Cardinals. Now I've kind of been on their trail a little bit here late.
Yeah,
and damn, I don't care what. I don't care because it's the Jets, and it looked like the Jets had no thought what to do. They didn't show any enthusiasm in the game. And the Cardinals, every damn play was like, what do you think? Wow. And I mean, the energy, I'm not exaggerating. Yeah. That energy that they had on the field, it was incredible. Yeah. And Matt, I don't do this a lot. I usually just watch the all 22, but I watched it on TV. Mm-hmm. I wanted to see really, because sometimes the all 22, I don't get a great, but the hitting, how ferocious they were, the play calls, and of course, the energy, that Trey McBride, James Conner, the quarterback. I mean, everybody is into it.
Yeah.
Whatever he's selling out there, Jonathan, again, it's working. They're buying. They're drinking it. It's awesome. And hell, I'm just sitting there going, I'm going to watch them again this weekend. I'm going to be all over them.
Yeah, no doubt.
Who do they play this weekend? I don't even know. I haven't looked.
Let me double check here just to make sure. I want to say that it is, it's a division game. It's the Seattle Seahawks, but they actually have a bye this weekend. They come back the 24th against the Seattle Seahawks.
That's great. It's a good time for their break.
Yeah.
Because they are kind of rolling, and now they can catch their breath and reload again. So, Kyler Murray, just what they're doing with him. It's just, and he's not running around like he used to. He's making the reads 1-2, get rid of the ball. Right. And the defense, they're just trying to, I don't even know what to say. They're just trying to knock the snot out of everybody. That's the way to say it. But I think too, the running backs that we've talked about already, when you have three running backs, whenever they get in there, it's to the wall. And the quarterback's playing better. The offensive line's tough because they run the ball a lot and enough. And then, of course, I've said Trey McBride. I mean, did you see him during the game?
Yeah.
I mean, he is
matched up against Sauce Gardner in a few situations. Even Sauce Gardner was struggling. He covered him well on one play. Sauce tries to throw him to the ground. He threw Sauce over and then hurdled a guy, 5 yards down the field.
That's who he is.
But he really might be. He might be one of the best tight ends. I mean, he is one of the best tight ends in the NFL. The question is just where on that list is he? But he's a top 5 tight end. He's a top 5 playmaker, right? And it's unbelievable how dominant he is when he gets the football in his hands.
I love these tight ends. George Kittle. Here we go. George Kittle.
Yeah.
And take him and get Gronk when he was in the league, put them together, and that's what you got in Trey McBride.
Right.
I mean, I don't know. When I was watching,
it's a hell of a combination.
It's energy, it's toughness, it's size, it's the personality, it's everything.
Yeah, the athleticism is off the charts too.
Yeah.
He runs routes like a receiver, but you're right. He's strong and runs through arm tackles. I want to say they had 4 catches for about 70 yards in the pass game. And shout out to Drew Petzing too, and what he's done for the offense, because
awesome.
He's really, I think, helped Kyler. We heard this discussion with Caleb Williams, how there was too much on his plate and he was getting overwhelmed. Maybe that was the case too for Kyler in the past, right? It was like it was too open, like he had to make plays all the time with his feet and be a constant thrower. But the physicality of the running game, right, I think has really allowed Kyler to, take those mental plays off, to have a break, to have other players on the team kind of enforce their will on the opposing team. And then, hey, when he gets out and makes his plays and, throws off balance throws and makes people miss in the pocket, is really impressive. And he's playing the best football of his career right now. And that's really exciting. And another case study for Caleb Williams, because this is a guy that, has been counted down and out. There was questions whether or not he was the guy, and they've gone through offensive coordinators and changed head coach and all that. And he's now on the other side of that 3-mile pipe there, Andy Dufresne. And he's doing really well. And, and that's great. And Nick Rallis too, the defensive coordinator, man, he's awesome too. He was all over it. Now I guess the Jets aren't the greatest example because everybody's kind of all over them, but the Jets really could do absolutely nothing on offense. And they were just physically just bludgeoned to death in this football game from start to finish.
Yeah, I'm going to go back to last year, I think, and I've talked about this already with you, that there was a point I go, man, this Jonathan Gannon, man, this team I could see was probably it was early or mid-year, and then they kind of fell apart at the end. But when I saw it, I said, boy, he's really got the team going forward. And you could see they were a little tougher, but, sometimes it takes more than just, 6 games to really get it going. Now they've got a year and a half in there, and you see what he's been preaching, what they teach, all that stuff. And they're a fun watch because of the enthusiasm, the physical part of what they do. And then, of course, the thinking that these coaches are doing and helping these players out. So, see, there is a lot of good that's going on, but I think it's all that. And then, of course, I'm putting it back here, and I don't know what is Kyler Murray has changed himself.
No doubt.
His attitude, his body language on the field, everything is good. And it results with helping the team out. So I agree. I think that's the biggest thing. When we did our quarterback rankings this past offseason, we went through division by division. Right. And I want to say that both you and I had Kyler, on the bottom of the rankings within the division. And partly because what we had seen in previous years didn't really give us any other thoughts to say, hey, like he should be higher than that. They had the one year where they went to the playoffs and get absolutely annihilated by the Los Angeles Rams. Well, not annihilated, but they had a tough loss to the Rams. But other than that, we just didn't see enough from Kyler to say, oh, yeah, he's better than the other guys in the division. Right. And, this year, he has really become the franchise quarterback that they hoped he would be. And that absolutely has to do with what Petzing's doing on the offense, but also, too, what Jonathan Gannon is doing as far as being a leader and by the way that he carries himself. And you can even see on the sideline when he communicates with players after games, too. You see his interaction that he had with Hassan Riddick there after the game, being coached with him in Philly. You could just see that there's a certain vibe, right, or presence about him that is real, that is legit. And you could tell that he holds a room of grown men extremely well and is a motivating guy because this team plays extremely hard. And we're being reminded again, too, how good guys like Budda Baker are again in this defense, right? And how versatile of a football player he is again, because they're not messing around. They're using him in every single way possible. And they're an aggressive defense. So that's where I think it was really interesting when you watch the Jets. They were just completely overwhelmed from the start of the game. Physically and mentally.
That's
mentally
right.
too. Man.
No doubt. And that's when it's devastating, right? When you just know the other team just continues to keep pressing on you and you just can't get away.
Well, the Cardinals said, let's blitz. And they didn't know how to pick it up.
Right.
Let's try it again.
Which is crazy, too, that we're in week 10 of the season, and this is still the same issue for the New York Jets and Aaron Rodgers, who's been playing forever, that they just can't even protect him. So
3 runners.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable. It's almost like every blitz.
And like big hits, too. Like,
yeah.
It's kind of strange, though, too. Like, I've never really seen a quarterback with as much experience as he had be kind of caught off guard as often as he's had this season. And even, too, just, there was one where he sprinted out of the pocket and escaped and tried to throw it. And, ball got knocked out of his arms. But it's just like, man, like, the lack of urgency or awareness and situational awareness to me is mind-boggling right now for the New York Jets.
I hate all this when I say, but whatever, when I played. But, man, when I watch games, I see the blitz. I can see it on TV, on film, whatever. And, and then they'll pick it up and go, well, that is so easy. That was like just one guy extra, 5 rushers, and we got 5 guys, and we still let somebody run free. That's unbelievable.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. And then other ones, when they're up there with the double A gap blitz or whatever. I mean, come on. You've worked on that probably your whole life as a quarterback in the NFL. Yeah. That should be, we got the play. If we can't pick it up, we're going to do this and trick you outside and throw whatever. I mean, there's 100 ways to overcome it. And to see guys running free against a 40-year-old quarterback or whatever he is. How old is he? Really 41? Is that what he is?
Something like that.
Whatever. They're coming free, and he can't escape them. I mean,
right. Of course not. But
that's just crazy, though. I don't understand that.
Yeah, it is. Well, the truth is that they don't really know what they do well, and when you don't have one thing that you can hang your hat on, you can't do anything. And it's just we're just throwing plays out there. So there was some optimism. With their 2 Thursday night games where I thought, they're figuring it out. They're doing this. And, I don't know. They can't keep playing on Thursday night. That's the only time that they play well on short weeks for the other team. But, it just, but bad. The story is that the Cardinals are a legit threat to win the NFC West this year.
Yeah, it's fun. And watch it.
According to a few different sources, they have one of the easier, I want to say like the top 5, one of the easiest schedules to finish out the year, considering, the win-loss ratio of their remaining opponents. So this is a team that, could be a playoff football team and really can make a run at it this year, considering that we, I myself, maybe you, weren't really considering them to be back or ready to be competitive yet. But it goes back to what you said earlier. Coaching matters. Coaching is everything, honestly, in the game of football, and that's why it's such a special sport.
All right,
big guy.
We did some good stuff. We didn't.
Yeah,
it wasn't all negative. It was some positive there. And so we'll see. Listen. I can't wait to watch NFL football every week. So now I'm gonna, of course, Cardinals got the bye this week, but we get to watch the Bears and really see. It probably, I would say the first week, it'll be really settled down. We're going to give the run a little more, a better chance to have success. Right. I didn't look to see who they play. Who do they got this weekend?
Oh, yeah. Let me check. I want to say they play the Green Bay Packers. Let me just double check. Okay. I want to say they play the Green Bay Packers.
Where?
Hang in there with me, player. They play the Green Bay Packers, and they are
in Chicago.
They're home. Yep, they're home.
That'll help a little bit.
Maybe
it will. It's better to be home than on the road with trying to make a few changes. So we'll see.
Yeah,
we'll give them a couple of weeks before we talk about them and really analyze what they're doing.
Yeah, that's right. All right,
good
you
job.
the man, big guy.
All right, buddy.
Always a pleasure, player. Big Phil, right? Got it out of the system. Even Munich's cleanliness was bothering Big Phil. So it's just kind of shows you, how he sees the world.
Yeah, I know, man.
All right,
all right.
That's all we got here for Sims Complete. We'll be back for more. Tune in next time. I think we'll have something here before the end of the week, another show. But yes. we'll be back soon with another one. That's Sims Complete. Hey, he's Phil Sims. I'm Matt Sims. See you later.